Drop, stitch, magic loop, slip, slip, purl, slip, slip, knit, twisted cord, wrap and turn, pick up and knit. Joe plays scarf.
Make sure you stay till the end. Ross gives a clue for the giveaway.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Joey's Scarf. Today is Tuesday, September 11th, and I'm recording in the morning, and I'm in my bedroom today because I thought the lighting was the best. It is a rainy day today, and it was a rainy day yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. I don't know if it is because of the hurricane that's coming our way. Hurricane Florence should hit landfall down south, I think around Georgia, Maryland, Virginia, in that area on Thursday. So I don't know how much we will get up here in Barnegat, New Jersey, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully people will be safe. Let me introduce myself for new viewers. My name is Linda. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Linda Grace, and that's Linda with a Y. The name of my podcast is Joey's Scarf. As you know, if you're watching, you'll know that. And I named it that in honor of my son Joe, who passed away in 2011, in December of 2011, from colon cancer. He was a young man. He was 36 when he passed away. And I am having some difficulty these past few days. I miss him a lot, always, and sometimes it's harder than other times. But I keep this, I'm sitting in the chair in my bedroom, and I keep Joey's scarf there on the chair, and it's a great comfort for me. I made this for him, and I just feel like I have part of him with me. So yeah, that's what's going on here. I'm missing Joe a lot. It's been a busy summer, and it's been hot the last couple of weeks. It's been really unbearably hot, so I'm ready for some fall weather. Even with the rain today, it's still very muggy and humid, and it's not really that cool. So I am looking forward to some cool weather and doing some fall knitting. This past weekend, Ross and I went to the Garden State Sheep Breeders and Fiber Festival in New Jersey, up in Ringo's, New Jersey, which is like, I guess, northwest. And it's a small event, but there was a lot of vendors still. There were 3 barns filled with vendors, so it's not quite as big as Rhinebeck or Maryland Sheep and Wool. But it's just a nice, intimate show, and I did get some goodies, which I'm going to show you later on. I have some finished objects. I've been working a lot, knitting a lot, keeps my mind occupied and my fingers busy, and I'm going to show you some of those right now. Okay, one of the finished objects I have is a pair of socks. Now, if you watched last episode, you may recognize this yarn, because I did a pair with this yarn, and it was leftover yarn from a project that I did. It probably was in a shawl or a pair of socks, but I had enough leftover to make two shorty pairs. But these I made a little different because I added some little sparkly yarn to the cuff and the heel. I'm not sure what this yarn is, unfortunately, but the sparkly yarn is a Knit Picks sock yarn. I think, yeah, I'm not sure which color it is, but I think it came out nice, and it adds some pizzazz to the socks. So that was one of the finished objects, and they came out nice, fit me really well. So that's my first finished object. Okay, another finished object, my grandson's birthday. My youngest grandson turned 5 on Saturday, and for his birthday, I made him a hat. Now, of course, he has the hat, so I don't have the hat here to show you, but I do have some pictures, and I'm going to insert those here. And it really, it fit him really nice, and it looked really cute on him, as you can see. The yarn I used for that was this DK yarn from Shirsty Cat Designs. And I always look for her when I go to the yarn festivals. Make sure I always visit her, because she has a great selection of yarns, and I really like her yarn. And the color here is Vamp. And as you can see too, I have quite a bit left over. The pattern I used for the hat was the Antler Hat pattern from Tin Can Knits. I did a little modification of the pattern. You're supposed to do the antlers all the way up to the top, including the decrease, and of course all the way around. But I found that I was having some problems with the cable, with the antler cable. So I'd forget where I was, and I had to tink back. I had to keep tinking back. So to give myself a break from doing the antlers all the way up, I did a set of antlers, and then a set of just plain stockinette, and then a set of antlers, and then a just plain stockinette, to give myself a breather from doing the cable all the way around. It's a great little pattern, and actually like the way it came out with the way I did it. And it really looked cute, and I'm happy with the way it came out. The yarn is great. It's just so soft, and it is, of course, merino. It's 100% merino, superwash merino, and it was a big hit. This is the pattern. It's the Antler toque or toque, however you say that. It's on Ravelry. I don't remember if it's a free pattern or not. But as always, all the information and all the patterns, and if I know the name of the yarn, of the things that I'm making, I'll put them in the show notes. Okay, I have another finished object. I have quite a few finished objects, actually. This one is called The Colorful Day Cowl by Emily Parson. Yes, by Emily Parson. And it's a free download from Ravelry. And it's sort of, it's kind of a scrappy cowl. You can use up your remnants and bits and pieces. It is a sock yarn cowl. Yeah, so I didn't change colors as often as she suggested, but I did use up 2 skeins of my scrap yarn. Not really scrap, but just leftovers. And I made this cowl. It's really simple. It goes very fast. And I like this one. It's a 2-tone. Because I just used 2 colors, and it's big and airy, and it fits pretty good. I like it. So I can wear it this way, pull down, And I'm probably killing you with the static on this microphone. Or this way. Yeah, I just turned it the same way with this side up. So I thought it was pretty cool. Very easy, very simple, mindless knit. It just has a little ribbing around the top and the bottom, and the rest of it is just stockinette. So it came out really nice. It's very soft and flowy, and it's going to keep me warm in the winter. I like to wear cowls, and I wear them in the house, even in the house during the winter. And I like something around my neck, again with the microphone. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what the yarn is. Again, I used bits and pieces of what I had. So that's my cowl. Okay, my next finished object is a shawl that took me quite a long time to finish. I think I may have shown the beginning of it in the last episode, which was about a month ago. It was a fun knit because there were a lot of pattern changes in the shawl. It's quite large. The shawl is quite large, and I would just pick it up every once in a while and really go to town on it. And then when it would be just too much, and I would look at how much I had left to go, and I'd put it away and wait until a few days, pick it up again, and be very enthusiastic about doing it again. And I was able to finish it that way. Okay, the name of the shawl is, it's the Local Yarn Shawl by Caspinka. And there's pictures of it. And there's some more samples of it. I liked knitting it. I did. It did take a long time, but that's okay. I wasn't in a rush. I wasn't racing a race, and I just took my time and enjoyed the knit. As I said, there were a lot of pattern changes, and this is how it came out. And it's I guess like an asymmetrical shape. So here's some of the patterns. There's some lace. And it's hard to show, of course, because it's so large. I have some pictures of me wearing it, which I'll insert somewhere around here as I'm talking about it. I had no difficulty with any of the patterns, except for the border. So at the end you do a border. Let's see if that's the right side. And I wasn't quite sure what the border pattern was supposed to be, because by then there were like 100 and some stitches, 185 stitches, and every row was a different stitch. I don't know how else to explain it without giving the pattern away. So I decided here's the border. This is supposed to be probably about that much more border. And I just said, okay, I've worked on this shawl a long time. I'm happy with the length and the width of it right now. And I'm not quite sure what the border pattern is supposed to be. So I think I'll stop. And the other thing it is supposed to have is a picot bind off. And I just wasn't going to do a picot bind off. So I just did just a plain bind off. I added some extra stitches in there every once in a while so that it would lay flat. But it's really a beautiful shawl. It really is. As far as wearing it, because it's asymmetrical, I'm not quite sure what to do with it. But I guess kind of like this. And it's big. It's a big shawl. So, but again, I'll have some pictures in here. Okay, the yarn this is the other thing that I wasn't quite sure about the yarn. This is Berroco, and it's called their Remix Light. And this is color what is the color? Come on. I'm not quite sure. It's 6971, I think is the color. But yes, it is. It's 6971. Okay, the composition of this yarn is 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. So, I don't know if they're there. So it is, I can tell that it's cottony, and I'm not used to working with cotton, but this, excuse me, this is, I love it. I have to say I love it. I love the result of it. It's just very light, and because it's a big shawl, it will still keep me warm, I think. Nice for the fall. What attracted me to this, of course, was the color. The color is just beautiful. I just love the color. I would recommend the yarn. If you want to do like a summer shawl or something light. It's just, I guess I'm just not used to the texture of cotton and linen, working with it. And then this has some, it's like a tweedy kind of thing with, it's just textured. The yarn is textured. So when I was knitting with it, it didn't pull, so it didn't slide so easily on the needles. So it didn't really bother me that much because, as I said, I was taking my time with the shawl, and I was just doing it as a relaxed knit. And I guess that's the way we should knit, right? That's the point of it for me anyway. But yeah, I just love this. I think it's beautiful, and I'm glad I stuck with it and finished it. Okay, my last finished object, and it's a big one. Another big project. So I think I did quite a bit in the month since I saw you last. This was an Afghan that I made, and it is called, the pattern is, and I may have shown you the beginning of this too last episode. This is the Smooth Ripple by Attic 24. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's crocheted, and another relaxing, fun project. And especially because I loved the yarn I was working with. So the yarn I used for this is Miss Bab's yarn, and it is her Yowza yarn, and the color is Mayhem, and it is 100% superwash merino. The yarn is just gorgeous and yummy, and the pattern was fun to do. And again, I'm not going to be able to show this whole thing because it's an Afghan, and I'm going to put a picture in or a little video in here so you can see the whole thing. But this is the what I made, and it's big. But if you could feel this, you'd want to cuddle up in this blanket. It's just gorgeous. And the yarn is really nice. I was kind of sad when I finished it because I was having so much fun knitting this, crocheting it. I decided to wash it after I finished. I was a little hesitant to do this, but I wanted to see how it was going to come out. I'm folding this up, so I'm not looking at you right now. But anyway, this is the Afghan. And because I used, I think, 4 skeins of the Yowza, and each skein, because it's, hand dyed, it wasn't exactly the same, so there's like shades and fades throughout the blanket, and it just turned out beautifully. It's just really nice. So that's my last finished object, and I think I did a lot of crocheting and knitting in this past month or so. And for that reason, I have one work in progress, and I'll show you that in a minute. So the work in progress is a pair of socks, of course. And again, this is a leftover from, this yarn is left over from a project that I did, a shawl or something like that. And I'm pretty sure that this yarn is from Evil Little Goat, but I'm not positive. But whatever it is, and whoever dyed this, it's really cool. The colors are really cool. It's my usual sock recipe. As you can see, I'm doing an afterthought heel, and yeah. So that's the only work in progress I have. So I have a lot of things in my to-do list, or not even a wish list, what I'm going to be working on next, in my mind of what I want to do next. And so I'm just going to think about it and kind of figure out what I'm going to do next. Okay, so as I told you, Ross and I went to the New Jersey Sheep and Wool Festival on Saturday, and I did get some goodies, so I want to show you because they're pretty cool. I have some favorites, of course, that I always visit when I go to the shows. One of them is Chelsea Yarns, and Christina, who's the owner of Chelsea Yarns, her shop is in Red Bank, New Jersey, and she also sells online. So she has a podcast too called The Chelsea Purls, and it's Christina and Miriam who do the podcast. And one of their podcasts, they were showing a hat that they had made using a DK weight yarn along with mohair. Now, I've never worked with mohair, and all I know is that whenever I see people showing things that they made with mohair, they're always talking about how it gets in their mouth and in their nose, and I was a little hesitant, but the hat that they were showing was so beautiful that she had a sample of the hat in her booth at the festival. So I decided I'm gonna give it a try because it's just really pretty. So the DK that I picked out is called Sugar Plum, and it is 100% super wash merino. Look at that color. Isn't that pretty? And this color is called, I think I said it, Sugar Plum. Yeah, and it's DK weight. And then the matching mohair is Sugar Plum. Oh my goodness, it's so soft. And this is how does it say what it is? I guess, it's Chelsea Luxe mohair. So it is 72% kid mohair, 21% silk. And this is 459 yards. Pretty. So I think these two will look really nice together. Okay. So that's going to be a hat. What else did I get? Okay. So as I told you, whenever I see Shirsty cat designs, I always stop at her booth, and I did this time too. And I picked up 2 skeins of this sock yarn, and it's her just sock yarn, and it is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this color is called Orchestra. Now I bought this for my daughter, Jen, who is starting to knit and crochet again. I mean, I've taught her over the years, but I think this time she's really a little bit more interested in it. So I bought these for her, and I'm thinking that maybe I can show her how to make a simple shawl, and I think she'll really like this. So that's for Jen. And then I always will stop and see Toad Hollow if they're there, if they're around, and they were. I bought some of their mohair, and if you hang on one second. Okay. By the end of this podcast, I'm like I went through a storm or something with this hair. I keep pushing it back. Okay. So, as I was saying, I also stop and see Toad Hollow whenever they're around. and that is Mary Beth and Helen from Toad Hollow Yarns, and they also have a podcast called the Crafty Toads. One of the visits one of the times I saw the Crafty Toads, they were doing a trunk show at Chelsea Yarns for her 5th anniversary for her store. So I picked this up at that time. And this is called Vagabond, and it's their silky toad base. And so I decided I wanted to do something with mohair with this also. So at the show, I stopped at their booth and picked up their mohair blend. And I think these two will go nice together. It's not exactly the same color, but I think it'll work. I'm not sure I don't know if I want to do another hat with this or maybe a small shawl, something, but also very, very soft mohair. Yeah, so this is Toad Hollow's yarn. So that's that. And of course, you know, fall is coming. So while I was in their booth, I picked up some of their sock yarn, some fall colors. And this is 80-20, 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And I don't know what the color of this is. I don't see a color on here. But there are fall colors. If I find the color, I'll put it in the show notes. But Toad Hollow yarn. So that's the yarn that I bought. Oh, wait a minute. I also bought, this woman had a booth. She was selling a kit in this container, tin container, aluminum container, for fingerless gloves. And she had all different colors that you could choose from, and she had samples of the glove there, so you could try them on. So the kit that she sells, you get the yarn, which is alpaca, and I chose this blue color, and the pattern. And she's calling, this is the Hand Warmers Knitting Kit, and by Carol Schumann. I don't know. This is Berry Meadow Farm Inc. is her farm, I guess. And I don't know if this pattern is on Ravelry or if you have to go to her website, but I will put that information in the show notes. But I thought that was a neat idea. You know, she had the samples made. The alpaca is really nice and soft. And I thought that would be a quick knit. And when I'm done, I will have this little container too to put stuff in. Because you always need containers to put stuff in. So that was another purchase. Oh, but my big purchase was this bag that I bought. Now this woman she is her shop is called Luna Stitch, and it's one-of-a-kind bags crafted one at a time. She's got an Etsy shop called Luna Stitch. Her name is Donna, and these fabrics are like upholstery fabrics, and I just thought they were so. This one I loved with the polka dots, and the inside is polka dotted, and it has a pocket and the wooden handles and a flat a flat bottom so it'll sit. And I thought it would be nice to have next to my knitting chair that I sit in when I knit. I couldn't resist it. It was really one of a kind, and I thought they were unique, and I loved it. I love it. So that's it for my works in progress, finished objects, stuff I bought, and let me see if I have anything else to add to this podcast. I didn't mention that we have a Ravelry group called a Joey's Scarf, and we have done some knit-alongs since I started the podcast, and I'm thinking of doing something for Christmas. Last year we did a Christmas stocking swap, and it was a round robin kind of thing, and we exchanged, I think there were about 6 or 7, 8 of us, I don't remember, but it was quite fun. So I'm thinking of doing something along those lines of a Christmas swap of some sort, and I'll give you the details. I'll be talking about the details in my next podcast because I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do yet. So that's a little bit of news there. Trying to think of anything else. I think someone else wants to say hello, so hang on a minute.
Hi.
Oh, look who I found.
Look at her.
Yeah, look at
all
you.
dressed up. Okay, so we've been away for a long time.
That's
and
right.
we have absolutely nothing planned for today.
No.
So this is going to be relatively quick, although we've been from Lake Erie.
I think that we told them that last time.
It's been so long since we've been there, we have to go back.
Well,
What is that just flung down?
oh, don't worry about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I dragged you to the sheep show Saturday.
Well, the sheep show is not what it sounds like. It's a sheep show. The, New Jersey State? No.
It's actually called the Garden State Sheep Breeders Association's Fiber Festival.
The Fiber Festival.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it's really exciting. And
Well,
it is.
for some of us it is.
Well, you sneak around looking at...
Tell me honestly
I
how you
find,
feel about it.
I find some of it interesting.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, there are people there preparing yarns the way they've prepared yarn for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually knit. And they knit things. They knit anything from a sock to a tam to a sweater.
Yeah.
And then some.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a movement. There are 1 million women who are members.
Women?
I believe they are mostly women.
There are quite a few men
This
also.
is not a disparaging fact,
No, I know that.
but it's probably one of the largest active worldwide bodies on the earth.
You think?
I think so, because you can essentially speak to someone who's a member of, what's it called?
Ravelry.
Ravelry. You can speak to someone in Ravelry, probably speaking any of the languages on earth,
Mm-hmm.
except for those that are pretty much dying. But even they have their own words for these things, these materials.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we went to the Jersey State Breeders Sheep and Yarn Festival.
It's pretty good, huh?
Got most of it out.
Yeah.
It was-
Did you buy any yarn?
I certainly did, by proxy. We always buy yarn. Linda is a prolific knitter. She knits socks. On any day of the week, you can see 25 pairs of socks on our dining room table, resting on towels, drying so they don't shrink. I mean, no, Linda does a lot of knitting. She can knit up all the presents for Christmas if she wanted to, but I imagine it would get boring. But included in this trip to the show is the travel to and from. I mean, there are different stories about each thing.
Okay.
There are travels to and from. It's just northeast of Trenton, I think.
Is it
right?
northeast or north?
North.
It's northeast?
Northeast.
Mhm.
Northeast
Mhm.
of Trenton. So it's really not as far as it seems. It's about an hour to Trenton,
Mhm.
an hour to Trenton, and then a half hour from there to, where is it in Jersey? Ringo's, New Jersey.
Flemington area.
Flemington area. In an area that is one of the last rodeo areas in the East Coast.
Oh, how come we didn't go to the rodeo?
Because we don't know anything about it.
I don't have any desire.
I think it would be interesting
Maybe.
sometime. Maybe we'll take a couple of kids there. So anyhow, we planned things out, rain or shine.
Mhm.
It rained. It was
Well,
supposed to rain.
It rained on the way up there as we were driving, but when we got there, it had stopped.
The sun had come out,
Yeah.
or it was trying to come out.
Yeah.
And what we usually do is Linda has an idea before we even go, who she's going to see, say hello to, and buy wool from. So it really is a well-planned operation. We brought peanut butter sandwiches, but forgot to put them in the car. So we didn't have
Because it
our
was such a
usual.
long trip.
We didn't have our usual breakfast of peanut butter sandwiches with coffee and tea.
Well, we could say something disparaging about the breakfast we did have, but we won't.
Okay, if you don't want to include it. Made me sicker than a dog.
Oh, right. And that's,
From a Wawa.
Ah!
Not, okay. What do you- Ah! So anyhow, we didn't get the usual start that we get, although we were definitely on time. We were ahead of schedule all day. We were ready to leave half an hour after we got there.
It's a small
There
venue.
are essentially 5 well-sized barns.
No.
Barns.
4.
There were 5 there. We walked through 5.
4. No, we didn't. We walked through barn 1, and then barn 2 had the sheep, and barn 3 and 4.
There were 2 barns in the center that are sheep and event.
Okay, you're wrong, but
And that's, I think it's 6. There are a number of barns where the activity is going on. The people are showing their sheep and their dogs. I mean, here we are in northern Jersey watching sheepdogs herd little groups of 8 or 10 sheep all over these fields. And there's a pretty good vista. Or maybe the site might be about 6 or 8 polo fields.
yeah.
That's very big.
Mm.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, it's more than 100 yards to the area that the dogs drove the sheep through.
Mm-hmm.
Is really. Oh, I've gotta move my shoulder.
Okay.
Is wide. It's about 2 football fields wide.
Wow.
About 200 yards wide.
Mm.
And the length is I'm trying to, is about the length of a good sized cruise ship.
I missed it because I was busy chatting.
Well, that's okay. That you were chatting with one of the people you wanted to chat with.
That's right.
So we go to Chatsworth occasionally too.
All right, so that's about it about the sheep show. You're a very good sport.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We went through twice all the barns. We went through twice.
Yes.
You were thinking of going through a third time, but then we said enough is enough.
Right.
Right.
Because you can stay there, meander around all day if you want to, and just go through every stack of wool and talk to the spinners and the carders and the knitters and the kids. There are a lot of kids there, 4-H members, who had their goats and had them trained and cleaned them and
Probably
everything
put
else.
some pictures in at the end of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
All right, so you're still going?
No, I can, no.
No. Oh, do you want to tell a joke?
I don't know if you want to hear one. I don't know. Do I want to tell a joke?
Yeah, do you have any jokes you want me to tell?
Not that come to mind immediately.
Nothing about it. No joke. No sheep jokes.
I don't think we have any sheep jokes. I'm sure there are lots.
Oh, well, one of the things what you were doing, you were teaching me Yiddish.
Well, whatever Yiddish I know, but all the Yiddish I know is either dirty words and
Really?
dirty sayings. It's like when you learn a new language, you learn the bad
Well,
words
what's
first.
your favorite Yiddish expression?
Oh, they're all good.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
They're all good. Verblunged.
Verblunged?
Verblunged.
Verblunged. What does that mean?
Lost.
Oh.
Lost for no rhyme or reason. I mean, you can be with no idea how you got to where you were.
What about the verbussum?
Verbissen a punum. A punum is a face. And if you remember Mel Brooks's Frankenstein, Frau Blucher.
You've remembered his name. You were trying to think about it.
Yes, I was. See, eventually all things come to the brain. If you remember Mel Brooks's Frankenstein, Cloris Leachman.
Oh, you remembered her name too, and you couldn't think of it last time.
Cloris Leachman played
Nurse Ratched.
Frau Blucher.
Frau Blucher.
Frau Blucher.
Blucher.
Blucher,
Blucher.
which
Yes.
is more German than Yiddish, but Frau Blucher. And I don't remember who it was, but she was pointed out because of her Verbissen a punum.
Pretty face.
No. A Verbissen, a Misskeit. Misskeit.
It was what?
Someone who just doesn't fit in, you know?
Ah,
I mean...
misfit.
No, not a misfit. A Misskeit.
It's like a misfit.
Like a misfit, yes. But it's a Misskeit.
Okay.
And it's somebody with a Verbissen a punum.
Oh, like an ugly face?
It could be a Fachabrut.
Okay. Well, so it is Happy New Year. Is it Happy New Year today? Or was it yesterday?
Has been.
Oh, it has been. Okay. So that's why we're speaking Yiddish here.
Right, because a yarn merchant got caught into this discussion with someone, and they were one of them, they heard a Yiddish word and they weren't sure what it meant or how to pronounce it. So
Fachatted.
Fachatted. So we easily cleared the air with fachatted all mixed up and not knowing front from back or
Sort
fair
of like
from
when
foul.
you try to knit.
Yeah, and that's fine. Because I start and finish very quickly.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So anyhow, I don't know. That's what we
about
did.
it, yeah.
And it doesn't kill. Oh, pardon me. It doesn't kill the day. I told you
What?
something killed me from walking. That's all.
We're not.
What do you think I'm
we're-
going to say? The dirty word?
No, but we don't have to disparage any business.
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah, we don't want to get sued for slander or something.
They don't
I
think
think you're
anybody-
losing the audience.
I think you're
I
right.
hear them dropping off one by one.
They're dozing off.
There's-
Their fingers have stopped moving.
I can hear the dropping of my subscribers one by one.
Okay. All right, well.
Oh, wait. One more thing. I
What?
forgot.
Right.
Last podcast, I said if I got to 300 subscribers, I was going to do a giveaway.
You're giving me away?
So I'm, I got to 300, and it's funny because I got to 300, and then it went down to 299, and then 298, and then it went back up to 299, and then 300, and then 301, and I got up to 305, and then it went back to 304 and 303. I think I'm at 303 now. So I don't know if I can say that I'm at 300, because you never know when somebody might drop off.
When we're finished, you'll take a look.
I'll take a look. But so I would like you to comment below.
Oh.
What? And tell me, what should I ask?
How many people who are reading this or who have read this far
Watched.
are knitters?
They're all knitters. Well, who else would be watching
Please.
this?
Please check in. That way they've got to sign in, and then they're a watch.
Oh, we can think of something more creative than that.
Let's take a break and have lunch.
No, we're not doing this. I wanted this to be over with.
Oh, the something you were going to do, weren't you going to give something
Yeah, I'm going to give something away, but I have to, if I want them
to know what it is?
No, I want them to comment. Make a comment to this video.
I will
And-
take constructive criticism.
No, we're not doing that. I want you to comment below and tell us what word in Yiddish means. No, the word that Ross mentioned in Yiddish that meant something about a face.
What language was that?
You said
Fabissinapunum.
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 Right. So if you can,
Frau Wucher as a Fabissinapunum.
all right, that's the word. If you can tell me what movie Ross referenced that comment and who played the part of the person who had the Fabissinapunum.
Fabissinapunum.
Fabissina. What is it?
Fabissina.
Fabissinapunum. Okay?
Fabissinapunum.
Right, and I will pick a winner, and there'll be a nice giveaway.
The
And
first person.
not the first person.
No?
No.
Oh, the first person to get it all correct.
No, I'm going to.
Because they can roll back. They can record.
That's okay. That's okay. That's what we want them to do.
Do you know how many things you're going to be giving away?
No, I'm only going to be giving one. I'm going to pick a winner. I'm going to pick a winner probably at random from the people who get the answer right.
Okay.
Okay?
That's a good idea.
All right. So that's it for today. I know this segment went on longer than usual, but listen, you Ross fans, I know you'll hang in there. So we'll see you next time. Bye now.
So long.
Drop, stitch, magic loop, slip, purl, slip, knit, twisted cord, wrap and turn, pick up and knit.